Shalom, 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 everybody from wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Israel Brief with me, Rolene Marks, right here in Modi'in in Israel, brought to you by these guys. I think that's all the housekeeping that I do with regards to who we are and where we are and who we're brought to you by. Welcome to the Israel Brief. We take a look at those top stories making headlines in Israel. We do it every Monday to Thursday, and it doesn't matter if it's during war or in peacetime. Our duty is to bring you the news that you might not see in the mainstream media or in your countries. Today is day 327 since the massacres of the 7th of October. I say this figure deliberately because for 327 days, 108 hostages have been held hostage by Hamas in the Gaza Strip. We want them back now. Yesterday, I started off the broadcast with the incredible news that the IDF and the ISA, that's the Shabak, had rescued a hostage from a tunnel in the south of the Gaza Strip. The hostage, whose name is Khalid Farhan Al-Qadi, a Bedouin from the city of Rahat, was taken hostage on the 7th of October from his workplace at Kibbutz Magen, where he worked as a security guard. Now, the whole of Israel is absolutely jubilant, and it's really amusing to see the mental gymnastics of so many around the world who accuse Israel of being an apartheid state, because here you have everyday Israel at play. You have a Bedouin Muslim hostage, held hostage by an Islamist fanatical terrorist organization, Hamas, rescued by the Israel Defense Forces, made up of soldiers who are, yes, predominantly Jewish, but also Christian, Muslim, and Bedouin, which goes to the question of the day I'm going to get to you later. In the majority Jewish state of Israel, and Israelis across the spectrum, left and right, religious and non-religious, celebrating with absolute jubilation the return of Farhan Al-Qadi. And of course, the iconic photograph that has emerged from this of his doctor wearing a yarmulke, treating Farhan, who is clasping the hand of his brother, who is dressed in religious Muslim garb. So for those of you who are trying their absolute best to look at the downside to this because it doesn't fit your narrative, well, too bad, so sad. This is how we roll here in Israel. And we were so moved to see the video footage of his brothers frantically running through Soroka Hospital to get to his side. Al-Qadi is a father of 11 children. He became a grandfather while in captivity, and his youngest was born. His youngest is now, I think it's 6 months old, and he has 2 wives. This is a practice that is normal within the Bedouin community. But he has also shared some of the details of his captivity, absolutely harrowing. He spoke to the mayor of Rahat, who shared with us that he had lost 20 kilograms in captivity. He was held in the tunnels of Gaza. He hadn't seen daylight in 10 months. And we actually saw footage released by the IDF of him being brought to Soroka Hospital, struggling to walk. He was held up by Israeli soldiers and wearing their sunglasses, obviously his eyes having to adjust to sunlight. He spoke about how one of the hostages who was held with him died in captivity, and he said that the conditions are of extreme suffering. He spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu and he spoke to President Herzog. I'm going to share, I have the readout of his conversation with the president, and I will read that conversation to you. The president says very emotionally Dear Farhan, how moving it is to hear your voice. Our brother has returned. And Farhan thanks the president and responds, I am grateful to the state of Israel, to the army who came. People are suffering there. Do everything you can to bring people home. Work 24 hours. Don't sleep until they return. People are really suffering. You can't imagine. Suddenly, I heard someone speaking Hebrew outside the door. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I thank you very much. This is thanks to our army who are doing sacred duty, risking their lives. Thank you very much, Mr. President. The mayor of Rahat said that he was treated as an Israeli and not a Muslim Bedouin. So it goes to show Hamas saw absolutely no distinction on that Black Saturday between Jew, Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, religious or non-religious. Anyone who came into their sight was either killed or taken hostage. And the president responded to him by saying, you went through hell there. I understand it's hard. The most important thing is to bring everyone back. Thank God you've returned and now you can see your entire big family. We are very, very proud of the army and the Shin Bet and all the forces that took part in this amazing operation. There are still so many brothers and sisters there. We want them all home. The entire nation of Israel is with us. The entire country, the entire state. Welcome back, dear brother, and good health. And this is what Israel is all about, not what you might hear on campuses and in the streets of your cities around the world. The IDF and the Shin Bet announced that they have embarked on a massive counter-terror operation in the West Bank. They are focusing on the towns of Tulkarm, Jenin and Tubas. So far, at least 10 Palestinians have been killed in the very, very heavy fighting between forces and Palestinians believed to be members of the Hamas armed wing, the Izzadin al-Hamas, and the operation has also been extended to cities like Kalkilia, Ramallah and Tulkarm and is expected to continue for several days. Now, there was some controversy earlier today. Israel's foreign minister, Israel Katz, is believed to have said that maybe we need to do what we're doing in Gaza and warn civilians at least to evacuate temporarily. This, of course, has gotten some people's backs up. And before any of this is seen as policy or forcefully removing anybody, it is just somebody expressing their hopes that maybe we can take some precautions so that civilians are not harmed. The controversy continues around the planned memorial for the first anniversary of the 7th of October atrocities. The task of planning this has been given to Minister of Transport Miri Regev, who is seen as a very, very divisive figure here in Israel. If I was part of the government, I would have given it to somebody that the communities most badly affected would be able to work with. She has rebuffed any criticism as noise, which of course has gotten many people's backs up. She also rebuffed the offer by President Herzog to host the event at his residence without any political symbolism. And as said, she will continue to plan. So what we do know is that dozens of former hostages and family members of hostages have written a letter to the government forbidding them to use their images or their names in the memorial, saying they won't allow for themselves or their loved ones to whitewash the failures of the government. We know that the memorial will be held in Ofakim without an audience and that an alternative memorial event will be held in Tel Aviv. The controversy continues to grow around this. Meanwhile, a convoy of cars of former hostages and family members departed Tel Aviv a short while ago. They are making their way south to the border with Gaza. They are expected to reach Kibbutz Be'eri, one of the worst affected kibbutzim, by later today. on that convoy, or included in that convoy, is a trailer that contains some of the vehicles that were burnt and destroyed on the 7th of October. And finally, we go to Southern Africa, where Namibia has blocked a ship destined for Israel from docking at its port in Walvis Bay. It is believed that the cargo of the ship was containing military material destined for Israel. Now, Namibia's Justice Minister said that they've blocked the ship from docking because it contained explosives for Israel. We haven't heard any comment coming from the Israeli authorities, but I can tell you, just from my experience being interviewed in Namibia, speaking to Namibians on the ground, first of all, they don't buy into the government's stance that is following or taking the lead on foreign policy from neighboring South Africa that is increasingly hostile to Israel. Many Namibians who I have spoken to know there are two sides to the story, and they want to hear Israel's side as well. You know, I really do believe that the silent majority stand with Israel. I just wish they wouldn't be so silent. Right, I tell you who isn't silent are you guys, because you guys send me your questions every single day. And today's question comes from Meryl from Melbourne. Good day, Meryl. Meryl asks, do Bedouins serve in the army? Well, absolutely. Bedouins serve in the IDF. In fact, they form some of our most elite units and are very, very good trackers in the Israel Defense Forces. They also serve in the police and in other security units and make some of our best officers. In fact, I won't forget a video clip, I think it was the 8th or 9th of October, before we had gone into Gaza in the land incursion. A unit of Bedouin dressed very ferociously in their IDF uniforms with their weapons, with their balaclavas, saying, Hamas, we are coming for you. You took our children, you took our loved ones, and we're coming for you. And they were pretty ferocious. And we salute them, and we salute the service of all our proud Bedouin Israeli members of society. And several have served as diplomats in the diplomatic corps as well. So again, for those playing apartheid Israel bingo, this is a fail on your card. And that brings me to the end of today's broadcast, which reminds me, please check out our website at www.layoftheland.online, our Facebook page at Lottle's site, our YouTube channel right here at the Israel Brief. Guys, if you like us, please click that red subscribe button. Let's grow our exposure. And we are on X at Lay of the Land 5. God bless you all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.